Women don't find you interesting. And it's not because you're not talented. It's not because you're not handsome. And it's not because you don't make enough money. It's because you're not like Venom. You're not like Eddie. If you haven't seen the Venom movies, go back and watch them. They're good movies. I actually was telling one of my homeboys to check it out because he hasn't. Last one was sad. That was a tearjerker. But I need you to move like Venom. And I think this video is going to do a great job because we're going to get some nasty Venom clips. I did great with Venom on this match right here. So, Venom. What is it about Venom that makes him so interesting? Yeah, I mean he's a freaking symbiote, but outside of that fact, it's that he doesn't care. He's rude, he's rough, he's just free flowing. And that's what I want you guys to understand as I heal up here in this room, after taking those damage, those hits, is that you can be as polished as you want. You could be quite intricate in your delivery of words, however you want to put it. You could do all of those things, but I want you to move like a yo-yo. You see this? Boom, boom. Throw people off. And this goes so much beyond the scope of just women. This can go for just people that you deal with. Maybe you work in sales, or maybe you are posting YouTube videos and you want to be interesting, right? Or whatever it is. I want you to throw a curveball in life, and I want you to throw a lot of them. I want you to get comfortable with the curveball effect. Let's call it the curveball effect. I just made that up on the spot, and it sounds kind of cool, right? So, for the purposes of this video, the curveball effect. So, if you see right here, look at this, right? I scoped out what my objective is. I'm throwing some jabs. I'm feeling the waters, right? And kaboom, kaboom, and kaboom. So just like that. You have to be able to throw women off. You have to be interesting. You have to be unpredictable. That is the golden word here. The reason that women get bored when they talk to you is because you're just like an arrow. You're straightforward. And, guys, like, I don't know if you've been in this position. Probably most men that have, gotten some success with the lady folk can relate. But, there's a certain excitement that kind of comes with the chase, right? It's like, oh, would she go out with me, or would she see me as somebody that's a good compatible match? Whatever it is, however you approach things, it could apply to courtship or just the straight up, harami stuff. What does harami mean? Maybe you got to find out. But the main thing here is that regardless of how you approach women, there's an excitement that we as men have. We're excited. We want to see those messages pop up, right? It's like that butterfly effect, or that butterfly feeling you get when you start talking to the lady folk. They have that too. They have that too. They don't want, everything to just be figured out. They think about it too. Like, oh, is he interested in me? Is he talking to other people? Am I boring? They ask themselves these questions. Like, am I boring him? Like, what is this? How can I get his attention? If you're playing the cards right, if you're kind of throwing the wrong type of cards, and don't make me get my man Gambit in here to straighten y'all up on that. But if you guys aren't using the right cards, throwing the right cards, making the right moves, then she probably lost interest a while ago. It's not irreparable, but sometimes it's better to move on. That's an assessment you got to make. But the main thing is you got to be unpredictable. You got to say the type of stuff that's got to make her jaw drop. It's like, what? How on earth could he say something like that? You do that from time to time. That's good. She needs that. She needs to see that you can be unstructured, right? It's all about, we sometimes want that structure. We want that perfect date plan. We have a timeline in mind. Like, oh, I like this girl. If stuff works out, I'm going to get on a knee in like 6.7 months. And, we have whatever it is, right? Sometimes they don't like that. They don't want that structure. They want that roller coaster ride effect. The ladies like the roller coaster ride effect, man. And you got to provide that. And the only way you're going to do that is by working like a yo-yo. You're going to be working like Venom, okay? You got to know when to extrovert, when to introvert. You got to know when to pull back. It's like this. Look at him like he's diving, right? He's diving. He's putting his mark. If he gets greedy, he gets sauced up. Look what Wolverine did to him. He chopped him up, poor guy. But if you get greedy, that's what's gonna happen. So you gotta really find that blend of what is too much and too little. And you gotta keep it unpredictable. Don't use the same tactics again and again. You throw those curveballs. So, we've kind of talked about what you're doing wrong, and I feel like I keep emphasizing the yo-yo effect, but what are some things that maybe, I've witnessed in my life, or things that, I've seen others, do, and how we can get this sorted out for you. Okay? So, the main thing here is you got to switch up the communication channel. Sometimes send a photo. You don't, if you're doing FaceTime a lot, or texting, and whatever the case may be, right? I mean, some stuff, sure, if it's an established communication channel that you have, keep it going. But at the same time, just pull back if you're early on in the stages, and if you're dealing with the whole issue of if she's interested or not, then pull back. Pull back, and let her chase too. Let her chase too. That's gonna give you a great idea of if it's really worth your time or not. Because you want it to be worth your time as well, friend. So if it's not worth your time, then that's the most important thing, guys. Because I don't want you to waste your time. I'm this is a solid year, man. 2026. It started pretty crazy for me, but I'm making the best of it. I'm having a lot of fun on this Marvel Rivals thing. Ooh, look at that nasty stick. Oh, wow. I had them all in the grip. See, I want you to have them in the palm of your hands like that, man. Like in a grip. But be respectful, be chivalrous. I'm not telling you guys to literally be, some certified D-bags, but figure it out, man. Figure it out. We living in the brain rot era, man. Don't get so tied into this whole social media thing, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never really used social media too much for my lady interactions. And you know what? I think that's really the best part about it, man. I mean, I feel like young guys, right? I perhaps I struggled with this at one point, and I know a lot of guys do, but it's like, how do you even approach the girl? That's a separate video. I'm gonna drop some gems on, stuff that helps, maybe some nice pickup lines, or, eye contact, stuff that's gonna help you just approach women. And I like to make my advice, if you will, call it that, my experiences. I want to say experiences, because I'm not a master at anything. I'm a student of the game, just like y'all. But I can put you on some game that I've tried. I could show you my layup package. Remember, the Kobe LeBron, right? Yeah, LeBron. He took the MIDI package. He took Kobe's MIDI. I'm gonna give you all my MIDI. But if you want my MIDI, we're gonna do that in a different video. But yeah, off the bat, man, try to approach in person more. Practice that. If there's one thing that I can, give you from this video after all this talk is just approach. Just walk in there. Walk in there ready to just get, mauled. Go with low expectations. Treat it like the stock market, okay? I always say this. Women are stocks, okay? You invest in the one you like, and you leave stuff as they are, and, it appreciates over time if all things go well. The more you stare at your stock from day to day, if maybe you're a day trader type, excuse me. I've never day traded with women, I like to play the long game, and, approach them in person and play the long game, guys, and you might have victory.